Hey guys, Melinda here. This video is going to be interesting. I've tried filming this multiple times before and it just never worked out. Usually I get interrupted in the middle of filming it, so I was never able to actually complete it. I remember I was having difficulties with the camera a few times, like it wasn't recording the entire thing, so then essentially I had to re-record the entire thing, hoping that I actually get to finish filming this and share it with you guys because I've wanted to talk about it for a while now. This kind of correlates with my self-portrait that I had to do for my acting class last week. What the self-portrait was my teacher told all of us that we had to stand up in front of the class and basically just do whatever we wanted for 10 minutes. Everyone was amazing, and the whole point of the assignment was to make yourself vulnerable and basically show who you are. I originally was going to take my classmates on a journey of my life, basically everything that's happened to me that got me to where I am today, but I ended up changing it to talking about all the bones that I've broken in my body. I'm still having issues with my ankle. There are some days that my ankle is just really bad. It gets really swollen and I wear the wrap, but you know, it's at that point where it's like it's not helping anymore. And I think this is just gonna be a permanent thing with me. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I wanted to tell you about all the bones that I've broken in my body. Jumping right into the video, the very first bone that I broke was my nose. I have no recollection of this ever happening. My mom told me about this. My mom told me that I ran into a wall because in the two-story house that we were living in, there was like a hallway right at the end of the stairs when you get to the bottom. Apparently I was going down the stairs so fast that I just ran right into the wall and I just broke my nose. Moving on to the next bone that I broke, I want to say about 6 years old. I broke my arm. I was at a playground with my brother and my mom. We were playing on the jungle gym and I was doing the monkey bars when I fell off of them and I landed on my arm. Moving on to the next bone that I broke, I was 8 at the time, I believe. I was in 3rd grade when it happened. And I broke my middle finger. Before you start assuming and asking questions, no, I did not break it flipping people off. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten that question, but no, I was not flipping anyone off. I was at a restaurant with my family and I was going to the bathroom. When I opened the door, I decided to run my hand alongside the door, and so it got stuck in the crease when the door closed. And of course I was stupid and I'm like, let me just pull my hand out. No, it ended up hurting way more. I was panicking and couldn't figure out how to get my hand out of the door, but then I remembered you just push it. So I pushed open the door and I got my hand out and I saw that my finger was like purple. I ran to my parents. I remember the restaurant people giving me like a bag of ice to put on my hand, and my parents took me to the hospital. And that's when I found out that I broke my middle finger. They put a splint on it and I went on my merry way. The next bone I broke was when I got to middle school. I was in 6th grade, somewhere around 11 or 12 when this happened. I was in my PE class. We were doing yoga poses. There was one pose in particular that I just lost my balance when I did it and I fell over. And I can't tell you how embarrassing that was, just because we're doing something really simple. We were doing a simple move and I lost my balance. Get back up, and of course I tried the pose again. Of course I fall again, but this time when I fell, I was trying to protect my head from hitting the ground and I ended up landing on my wrist, so I broke a bone in my wrist. The next bone that I broke, I was a freshman in high school, so I was 14 when this happened. We were at a field band marching competition. I stepped in a pothole when we were marching. I got home that night and I took off my shoe and I saw that my toe was blue. And I showed my mom, and that's when she said that something is seriously wrong or it wouldn't be that color. We go to the doctor the next day, find out that I broke my toe, and because it's a toe you can't really do anything with it. They don't like tape the toes together or anything like that. So they gave me crutches and they're like, it's just gonna heal on its own, just try to stay off of it. So the next bone that I broke was a year after that, when I was 15. This is probably the worst bone that I've ever broken in my body, and again, I was in marching band, but at the time I was an alternate cymbal player for drumline, and our band was really known for visuals with the cadences. And so one of the moves that the cymbal players do is they jump in the air and they crash the cymbals under their legs. And so one day when I was rehearsing that, I jumped in the air, but when I landed, I just landed wrong, and I felt a pop in my hip, and I just fell to the ground. I still can picture the pain. I couldn't stand up, I couldn't walk. So I told my parents, and they took me to Quick Care. Discover later that night that I had separated my hip growth plate a few millimeters away from my hip bone. And I know that doesn't sound that big, but it was painful. The hip, you can't put a cast on it, and you can't wrap it or anything like that. You just have to let it heal by itself. So I basically just used one crutch for about 6 months, and I hobbled around. I was unable to do everything, and that's why that was the worst breakage ever. So then moving right along into the next bone that I broke, I'm actually not 100% sure if I did break it or not, but I'm about 75% sure that I did. I had just graduated high school. It was a few months after that, so I was 18 at the time, and I had a boyfriend at the time, and we were just horseplaying around one day, so not really fully there and distracted. And so we were getting into his mom's car. I opened the back door and I put my hand on the car to like help myself in, when he slams the car door on my hand, and these three fingers were injured in it. All three of them were purple and bruised, but this is the only one that truly got damaged to the point where I couldn't move it, I couldn't touch it, I couldn't do anything with it. And because I had previously broken a finger in my life, it felt like the exact same thing. I just knew that if I went to the doctor, they're not going to be able to do anything, so I just made a makeshift splint at work, and I just left it alone for about a month. One of the other reasons why I believe that I broke it is that I now have like an indentation along my knuckle that does not exist on any of my other fingers. I'm pretty sure that I did break something in my finger, but either way, like, it works just fine now, and that's all that matters. So then that leads into the most recent bone that I've broken that I made a video about, and if you guys haven't seen it and you want to, I'll go ahead and link a card up here and down in the description so you guys can go watch that. I'll go more into detail in that video. Long story short, I broke my foot. I was playing racquetball at the gym with a friend of mine. When I was running after the ball, my foot got stuck on the court, but my body kept going after it, so I collapsed on my foot and I broke the 5th metatarsal in half. And the breakage was so bad that I had to get surgery. That was back in April, and it's now December, and I'm still having problems. I'm making it work though, and the thing that I kind of really wanted to talk about with you guys is that for most of my life, I believed that the universe was out to get me. It seemed every time I was getting to a really good point in my life that the universe had to throw something my way. Most of the time it was breaking a bone. Multiple times people told me not to think like that, but you know, being 20 years old and having broken 8 bones in my body, it's hard not to think like that sometimes. I'm doing really well at trying to move past that though. No matter what is going on in your life, whether it's if you break a bone or someone breaks up with you, you get fired, whatever it is, don't have the mindset that the universe is out to get you, because I'm under the firm belief that everything happens for a reason. Not sure exactly what the reasons were that I had to break a bone, but in the end, I tried to not let it ruin the things that I was passionate about. I was miserable for those few months that I was on the knee scooter, because one of the biggest things that was making me happy at that time wasn't making me happy anymore. When I did spring flicks and I tried filming over summer when I was still in the scooter, like, it made me happy again. That's the message that I want to give out to you guys, is that no matter what happens, don't let it get in the way of the things that make you happy. You should still be able to follow your career and the things that you're passionate about no matter what is thrown at you. Personally, I've really been striving to keep myself happy, and I want others to be happy too. I just encourage you to find an outlet that helps you get through the difficult times in your life. That's kind of what I shared with my self-portrait in class, and the message I've been trying to get to you guys for months is just don't let anything get in the way of you and your happiness. Don't let anything ruin yourself, who you are. Just be you. I guess that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It would absolutely mean the world to me. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already and you want to see more content and be notified when I post the new videos. I'm going to be doing it every single day in December leading up to Christmas. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next one. So stay beautiful in the meantime. Live life, always laugh, and enjoy the journey. Bye.